Tea is an aromatic beverage commonly prepared by pouring boiling hot water over cured leaves of the tea plant Camellia sinensis, an evergreen shrub native to Asia. Tea is rated as the second most consumed beverage on the planet, right after water. Tea is steeped in history and culture. Tea was first discovered by the legendary Chinese emperor and herbalist Shennong in 2737 BC. Legend has it that the Chinese emperor Shennong first sampled the drink during one of his travels and found it very refreshing, and tea came into being. Tea was a common drink during the Qin dynasty around 200 BC and became widely popular during the Tang dynasty in 618–907 AD. In 800 AD, Liu Yu, an orphan raised by Buddhist monks, wrote the first definitive book on tea, the Cha Ching. Various methods of tea cultivation and preparation promoted in Liu's book were highly influenced by the Buddhist monastery. The same tea ritual was later introduced to Japan. Tea traveled to Europe during the Portuguese expansion of the 16th century. Around 1660, Catherine of Braganza, the Portuguese wife of England's Charles II, carried tea into the court of Great Britain. Soon enough, tea was popular in Britain too. In India, locals in the jungles of northeast Assam possibly grew tea and made a brew by mixing tea leaves with warm water. Jan Huygen van Linschoten, a Dutch traveller, mentions this in his travel accounts back in 1598. Around 1823, two employees of the English East India Company, Robert Bruce and his brother Charles Alexander Bruce, came to know about the Assam tea grown by the Singpho people from Moniram Dotto Borua, a native nobleman of Assam. Once the company's monopoly on the Chinese tea trade was revoked in 1833, Lord William Bentinck, the then Governor-General of India, set up the Tea Committee to look for suitable places for tea cultivation. Soon after, the recommendation made by Captain F. Jenkins, Assam Tea Company built up a successful industry in Assam's Brahmaputra Valley. For tea connoisseurs worldwide, tea has remained a rich experience, an act of cultural performance full of possibilities. Every culture has its unique traditions of tea consumption. The Japanese, for instance, hold tea in extremely high regard and have developed the Japanese tea ceremony or chanao as a ritualistic celebration of the drink. Many Americans drink blank iced tea, and Southerners are well known for downing endless amounts of sugar in it. Tea time or afternoon tea is an indispensable part of English society, and numerous novels and films have immortalized the act as a distinctly British tradition. For connoisseurs of tea, however, Darjeeling tea holds a special place. By virtue of its quality, reputation and characteristics, Darjeeling tea became the first Indian product to receive a GI tag in 2004-2005 through the Indian Patent Office. It implies that the qualities of Darjeeling tea are essentially attributable to its geographical origin. Tea cultivation in Darjeeling began in 1841 when Dr. Arthur Campbell, brought tea seeds from the Kumaon region in China and launched his tea experiments near his residence at Beechwood in Darjeeling. Campbell found that the small-leaved Camellia sinensis var. Sinensis grow particularly well in this region. Campbell's experiments were emulated by several others. When brewed properly, Darjeeling tea yields a thin-bodied, light-colored infusion with a floral aroma and musky, sweet taste closer to Australian muscat wine. Darjeeling tea is treasured all over the world for its rich golden liquor and distinctive muscatel aroma. The muscatel aroma emerges out of a peculiar amalgam of soil, rainfall, climate, and the terrains in Darjeeling. Plucking tea leaves from the gardens is an art by itself. The tea pluckers of Darjeeling have perfected a unique technique over the years. Their fingers operate unhurriedly like the gentlest of machines. Two leaves and the bud make a shoot and require selective plucking. Incidentally, some 22,000 shoots go into the making of a single kilogram of tea. Tea leaves are mostly plucked in the morning when the dew on them is still fresh. The problem of plucking is compounded with the cold and damp weather along with difficult hilly terrain on which the tea is grown. Leaves picked from the same plant during different seasons carry distinct colors and flavors.
Darjeeling tea, which is a champagne of tea, does depend on the change in the seasons. We have got the 4 flushes here. The first flush from mid-February to end April is very light in cup color and it's got very soothing flavor.
In the case of second flush, which starts somewhere in the beginning of end May, beginning of June, the appearance is purplish brown with bloom. It's got a shine on it. The infusions are coppery in color, and the liquor is slightly deeper. And it's a round cup. The taste is round, a sweet cup, self-drinking.
Tea shoots plucked from the gardens are brought for processing to obtain different varieties of tea. Among them, the commonest variety is black tea, processed by almost all the gardens in Darjeeling with the orthodox method of processing.
The first process of manufacture is the withering. When the leaf comes from the field, it is put onto the withering troughs where it is fed with air.
The leaves are placed in a trough, a long wooden box, usually 70 to 80 feet long, 5 to 6 feet wide, and 3 to 4 feet in depth. The bottom of the box is made of wire mesh. Strong air is blown through the wire mesh with the help of large axial fans placed at one end.
This process generally takes about 14 to 16 hours. So what is plucked on a particular day will be ready for manufacture the following day. By the time the leaf is ready for manufacture, the percentage of moisture in the leaf will be almost about 60 to 65%.
The next step of processing is rolling. Here, mechanical rollers twist and press the leaves.
The slow process of rolling ruptures the cells in the leaves and the juices are extracted. In the rolling, again, what happens, we apply pressure. Depending on the type of leaf, depending on the time of the year, we apply sometimes very little pressure, sometimes even in the rains also, we apply even more pressure. After rolling, the next process is fermentation. Fermentation is a biochemical process and basically a process of oxidation, during which period the flavors in the tea leaves are enhanced.
In the stage of fermentation, the leaves are kept on thin and clean trays in a cool and humid environment. Depending on the quality of tea being produced, the fermentation process lasts between 2 to 4 hours.
And when you put the tea on the fermenting racks, they have two peaks in flavor. It's called the first nose and the second nose. So you will get one peak followed by the second peak. So if you are not experienced enough, you may lift the tea on the first nose, and what will happen is then you will not have any keeping quality. The tea will not stay. Whereas if you are experienced, you will pick it up on the second peak, which is known as the second nose, and when you pick it up on the second nose, you take it straight to the dryer and you fire it. You are retaining or capturing all the flavor for posterity.
Following fermentation, the leaf is dried. During this process, fermentation is arrested and the moisture is removed from the leaf.
Final drying takes place in large mechanical dryers where fermented leaves are fed in through conveyor belts from one end. The belts continuously vibrate and then take the tea through a temperature range of 115 to 120 degrees Celsius for about 20 to 30 minutes. This makes the tea almost completely moisture free. Ready tea comes from the other end of the conveyor belt. At this stage, tea is consumable, but it is not marketable. For marketing, the dried leaves are sent for sorting. Sorting is the final stage of processing. The objective of sorting is to remove foreign particles and classify tea according to the size. In mechanized sorting machines, the tea is made to pass through different sieves with different meshes. In the process, tea is classified into different grades such as whole leaves, broken leaves, fanning and dust.
We are making 4 grades. Number 1 is FTGA4P1, fine, tippy, golden, flory, orange piku. And the entire good leaf comes in the leaf grade. And the liquor is very light and the flavor is more than other grades. So that is leaf grade. Second is TGBOP, tippy, golden, broken, orange piku. Broken is little shorter than leaf and it gives a little heavy liquor than the leaf grade. So third is GOF, golden orange flory. This is smaller than broken grade and mostly it used for tea bags. It gives little heavy liquors. The last grade is FOF, that is a total dust grade. Mainly it also used as tea bags. The liquor is very heavy than the other grades.
After the grading, teas are finally packed and sent to the warehouse specially designed for storing tea. Some of the premium quality Darjeeling teas is single estate tea. But almost all those are sold in most supermarkets and shops as popular brands are blended teas. Teas are often blended together to obtain consistency of taste, aroma and higher price.
High-end teas are not blended. And the reason for which most people go in for blending is the customer may require one type of tea and the retailers, the packeteers, they want to give the customer the same type of tea throughout the year.
For blending, the tea taster tastes a variety of tea samples and prescribes a combination. Accordingly, the requisite number of sacks and chests of the different varieties of teas from the company storeroom are opened and conveyed into a large blending drum. The blending drum rotates to mix them together. When the blending is complete, the blend is sent for packaging into packets or tea bags. Brewing tea is an art of its own. Most people take water for granted when brewing their tea, but the temperature and the duration at which tea is prepared can affect the quality of the tea.
The duration of brewing, that is, once you put the tea inside the pot, changes from tea to tea. For Darjeeling, we want 5 minutes of brewing, but for green tea, they usually do 2 minutes, and for other oolongs and all, they do for 3 minutes. But there are lots of people in the world, like our connoisseurs of Darjeeling tea, who likes brewing for 6 minutes also.
The liquor of black tea that is processed in the orthodox method is darkish in color and has a range of flavors including fruity, nutty, flowery and spicy.
Actually, in all 4 types of teas like oolong tea, white tea, green tea and black tea, we follow the same orthodox process in Darjeeling. But there is slightly changes are done on temperature and time of processing.
The color of green tea is much different. Its hues range from green to yellow, and the taste and smell of the drink are very grassy and natural. Green tea comes from the same plant as black tea, but during processing, it goes through some variations.
Black tea is fermented tea, green tea is unfermented tea. So, if it's unfermented, you pick the tea and you stop the fermentation by one of 2 methods. Steam drying, and secondly, by pan frying, which is a far more complex process. There's a third way of stopping the fermentation, that is by hand drying it, by a process called gyokuro, a very exclusive Japanese style of making green tea.
For processing green tea, raw leaves are put into the roasters where they are steamed. Steaming helps in stopping the oxidation process before it can really get started and freezes the tea leaves in their current state, keeping the color green. Following steaming, the leaves are cooled and rolling is done. After the rolling, it is dried. Once the drying is complete, it is again rolled and dried for the second time. And the leaves which come out from the dryer following the second drying is consumable.
Green tea and black tea varies according to its biochemical component present. Those biochemical components are responsible for its antioxidant and aroma. In case of green tea, the catechins are present. Catechin like epigallocatechin gallate EGCG, that is getting transformed, fermented or polymerized into tannins in black tea like theflavin and therubigin, showing differential antioxidant and aroma potential.
Scientific difference between black and green tea is that in green tea all the polyphenols are retained as such, because during the process the oxidase enzyme which converts these two oxidized products of polyphenols has been inhibited. Whereas in black tea, due to the process of its making, the oxidase enzyme is active and it converts a good amount of polyphenols into 2 new derivatives like theophylline and ribidin. To say what is good and what is bad, well, I would say both have all the same polyphenols. Yes, the amount of those polyphenols are found to be slightly higher in green tea as compared to black tea. But black tea also has certain compounds as a result of the oxidation, which are also biologically very active and useful for human body. So I would say green tea, I would not put green tea as a superior tea and black tea as an inferior tea, no.
Darjeeling oolong is similar to the traditional Chinese tea. Oolong is lighter than the usual Darjeeling black tea. While making a cup of oolong tea, it is best to keep the water below the boiling point. White tea is a specialty tea and somewhat rare, picked only 2 days in the year when the buds haven't fully opened.
White tea is basically teas made out of all the buds, and the buds with pubescence in them. So it is so carefully manufactured that the pubescence isn't lost.
The color of white tea is similar to green tea, as the oxidation process is also stopped early.
During the manufacturing process, light pressure is applied and fermentation is avoided for the white tea.
But the taste of white tea is smoother and less grassy.
White tea is basically a collection or this thing of silver tips. It's very light liquoring. It's got very subtle flavor. For people who can only appreciate subtle flavor will drink white tea.
The rarity of white tea makes it slightly more expensive than the other varieties. Many conventional tea plantations are now converting to organic methods, consequent to the harmful effects of chemical fertilizers and pesticides.
Organic is basically a set of holistic values which is incorporated in agriculture. Fundamentals being healthy soil is healthy mankind. To create health in the soil, in Darjeeling, where we farm in very steep slopes with high rainfall, is the key. Because of the high rainfall, there's erosion, there's landslide, and the topsoil gets washed away. To preserve the topsoil, we, over the last 50 years, have evolved a unique system of permacultural mulch, where the tea is only 1/6 of other vegetation in the whole matrix. The leaf fall from the 6 stages creates a mulch which prevents direct impact of the rain on the soil, stopping erosion, minimizing weed growth but not killing it, increasing diversity, preserving groundwater during water stress, and last but not least, when the mulch decays, it forms a terrific topsoil which is high in humus and rich in fertility. Now this soil has a specific personality and character of its own.
Because of the overseas connoisseurs' high admiration and demand, Darjeeling teas fetch a large proportion of foreign earnings through the export market. The Government of India has established a state agency called the Tea Board of India to promote the cultivation, processing and trading in tea, both in the domestic market as well as in the export market.
Tea Board of India for Darjeeling tea industry has been working since long from 3 different angles. One is the research and development part, which is being carried out through Darjeeling Tea Research and Development Center. The other one is from the Development Directorate to give subsidy for the replanting and uprooting of tea plantations. And other is the Promotion Directorate. They are handling the GI of Darjeeling tea, which is very unique in the world, how to protect this in the world scenario, so that others cannot infringe this Darjeeling tea in their name.
The uniqueness of Darjeeling tea is well known worldwide, and keeping this in view, Tea Board has taken steps for registering it as a geographical indication and has also registered it under the Trademarks Act as well as Copyrights Act.
Darjeeling tea can only be produced in those 87 gardens of the Darjeeling district. So once it is having the GI, and in fact it is one of the oldest products of Indian tea where we have taken the GI and we are registered.
In addition, certificate trademark license is issued which ensures traceability of Darjeeling tea, and also certificate of origin is also issued by the board. So the discerning consumers would be benefited if they look for the license which is issued and the logo which is stamped in the tea which is packaged and sold by the manufacturers.